Hey, what's up everybody? I'm Aaron Rian with the Brokerage House, and I help thousands of agents make millions of dollars in the real estate industry. And today, I'm here to talk to you about 5 reasons why the housing market is not about to crash. So, if you're an agent out there and you're talking to your clients, or maybe you are somebody who owns real estate or you're thinking about buying real estate, you can use this information to talk to your clients, or you can use this information to make your next move in real estate. But here are the 5 reasons why the housing market is not going to crash in 2022. So the first reason is supply. Inventories are still at near record lows. So remember, the National Association of Realtors say that there was just a 2.4 month supply of homes for sale in September. In February, that figure fell as low as a tiny 2-month supply. The lack of inventory even today explains why buyers have little choice but to bid up prices. And it also indicates that the supply and demand equation simply won't allow a price crash in the near future. Keep in mind that while we're going through this recession, inventory levels are still going up, but we're not seeing them reach a point where it's going to cause a housing crash. So inventory levels are rising, yes, but we're not seeing them reach the levels that we saw in 2008, 2009, 2010 yet. So the limited supply is still causing houses to sell and still be able to get a premium. The second thing that we're seeing right now is builders can't build quickly enough to meet the demand. So builders simply cannot get their homes up fast enough to meet the demand of new construction homes. Home builders, remember, pulled way back after the last crash, and they never fully ramped up to the pre-2007-ish market. Now there's no way for them to buy land and win regulatory approvals quickly enough to basically quench demand. While they're building as much as they can, a repeat of the overbuilding of 15 years ago looks highly unlikely. I can tell you this, I've been to several new construction sites, and they're still not able to put up enough homes for the number of reservations that they have. While that number probably will stall, we're not going to see the complete crash that we saw in 2007. A lot of builders, the D.R. Hortons, the Legend Homes, they were really smart kind of going into this next phase of the market after what they learned in 2008, 2007, and 2009. They weren't throwing up thousands of homes in a subdivision. They kind of paced themselves to where they made sure they had more reservations than they did lots that they were building on. If you go to most new home subdivisions right now, they still have more reservations and more deposits than they have homes that are being built. So my recommendation for you is this, is when you're thinking about new construction and you're thinking about what the market's going to do in new construction, pay really close attention to the number of deposits they have compared to the number of homes that they're building. Now, one thing that you will want to keep your eye on, especially if you're an agent out there, is what is going to happen to those reservations for people who are actually pre-approved and put that deposit down before rates went up. Because with rates going from somewhere between 3.5% to 4% to today almost 7% in less than a 90-day period, there are going to be a large number of home buyers who put deposits down on properties back in that March, April, May range, and then the rates went up, and now they're not going to be able to qualify for those homes that they have deposits on. So there may be a more inventory when it comes to new home construction. We haven't seen that yet, but that's something for us as agents to keep our eye on so that we know how to talk to our buyers about the potential of a surplus of new home construction. The next thing I would tell you is demographic trends are creating new buyers. Remember, there's strong demand for homes on many fronts. Many Americans who already owned homes decided during the pandemic that they needed bigger workplaces. They needed bigger spaces because a lot of people started working from home. That was one of the main things that caused the uptick in home sales after the COVID pandemic. A lot of people spent a lot more time in their homes and they realized, I really don't like this house, or I need more space if I'm going to be here every day. I need a home office, or maybe I need a home office and my wife needs a home office, so we really need 2, plus we need all the bedrooms. So it caused a lot of movement in the market and created people who were selling homes and then also buying homes that probably wouldn't have been in the market if it wasn't for the pandemic. So that created a lot of opportunity in the marketplace. There's also millennials, or a huge group, and in their prime buying years. Remember, there are a lot of millennials out there, and they're now entering the market looking to purchase their first home, or maybe they're purchasing that first move-up home. So millennials are a big part of this, the population, and they're also a big part of the market because they're coming of that age where they're going to start thinking about buying their first home. So those two demographics right now, people who were locked in their house during the pandemic and realize that it's not everything they want, and also millennials getting ready to buy that first house, are creating an entirely new pool of buyers that we've never seen before in the US housing market. So something to keep your eye on, especially if you're an agent or if you're a homeowner out there thinking about selling. So the next thing that will keep our market from crashing is lending standards remain strict. So if you remember in 2007, liar loans were huge. I remember one time I saw my landscaper who, probably didn't have the financial means to afford an $800,000 house get approved for an $800,000 mortgage. So, it was interesting because they called them liar loans for a reason. You just told the lender how much you made, and the next thing you know, they approved you for a crazy amount of money. Long story short, 2007 was a much different time. You didn't have to have a lot of documentation. Shoot, you didn't even really have to have pay stubs or tax returns back in those days to get a mortgage. If your credit score met the minimum requirements and you told the lender how much you made and somebody was willing to verbally verify that at your office, a lot of times that was good enough for the lender. So liar loans were a big part of the economic crash back in 2008 and 2007. So remember, this time around, mortgages are a lot better than they were back then. You had to prove tax returns. They were verified. You had to provide pay stubs. There was just a lot more restrictions on who could get a mortgage this time around. So thank goodness lenders and lending institutions kept it pretty strict to make sure that people who probably couldn't afford houses weren't buying them. So we're going to see a much stronger mortgage market this time around. We're not going to see the number of defaults on mortgages, I don't think, going into 2022, 2023. We're going to see homeowners holding on to their real estate, I think, maybe a little bit longer because they aren't in adjustable ARM mortgages. They got fixed 30-year mortgages or 15-year mortgages where they have a set payment. We'll see a segment of that population needing to sell their property, maybe because of job loss or other circumstances inside of their lives, but it certainly isn't going to be because their mortgage adjusted with the market and now their mortgage payment's doubling, or they never had the income in the first place to be able to afford the mortgage. It'll be other circumstances that cause people to want to get out of those 30-year mortgages. So, and then the fifth thing that I will tell you that will keep our home market or our real estate market from completely crashing, and that is foreclosure activity is muted. So in the years after the housing crash, millions of foreclosures flooded the market, depressing prices back in 2007 and 2008. We're simply not going to have the number of foreclosures. And that ties back to my point that I made earlier about mortgages. There's just not as many bad mortgages out there. There's not as many people out there who shouldn't have bought real estate, who were in adjustable ARMs, where their rate was going to go up, their payment was going to go up because rates went up. Most people have fixed 30-year rates, and they're going to be okay going into the next recession. So we're not going to see the foreclosure inventory. The indicators out there are not saying that we're having the number of foreclosures or the number of short sales that we had in 2007, 2008. So this time around, I think we're going to be pretty good. We're not going to see a complete economic meltdown. I think we're going to see prices soften, but certainly not crash. So you can take that information, talk to your clients. If you're listening and you're a homeowner, rest assured that I don't think we're going to see the complete economic meltdown when it comes to real estate that we saw back in 2007, 2008. Hopefully you found our content to be helpful. If you're a supporter of our channel, you're a supporter of our content, go ahead and hit that subscribe button down below. If you like the content on this video, give us a thumbs up. If you have questions about what might be coming up on the horizon for real estate and you're just unsure, leave us a comment, leave us a question down below. We make sure we answer all those things, and we want to make sure we get back to you. So again, I want to thank you for watching our video, and I hope you have a great day.